So just to make sure, this sketch stuff works like this. We just stand here, and once the light on that camera turns on, we start talking?
Well, sometimes there's like a little modifier to it or some special topic or something like that, but that's the general gist of it.
On occasion, some pony may start the episode by saying some wacky exclamation to grab the viewer's attention.
Aha. So, we're in a sketch right now.
Looks like it with the light and all that.
Okay then, let's get on with it. AJ, coincidentally, our first order of business is about you. More precisely about our guests. Did Star adjust herself well enough at your farm?
Yeah, all in all, it ain't no problem. Reckon that's the one good thing about that much death in my family. At least I had a few rooms to spare. Shame she ain't much of a help, though. I really could have used a pair of hooves, hands, standing themselves.
I'm sorry, Applejack. That really bothers me too. You know, I used to be super strong. Like I could punch a monster with my bare fists and knock them out. But now I can't even move a freaking plow. I guess my strength was connected to my magic. I really could have done with knowing that beforehand.
Yeah, and for the paperwork, she's just too unfocused. But it ain't like she's doing nothing at all. She's helping all the way she can. And I really can't afford to be picky about the help I get, seeing as Apple Bloom proudly don't do nothing at all. So I'm grateful for all you're doing, Star. Even if it's just cleaning up or putting away some tools, that also saves time.
That's true. It's the same with Pinky after she moved to my castle. Ever since she's taking care of the chores and I can rely on her doing it right, unlike with Spike, I finally have time to deal with my other duties.
What other duties? You mean your royal ones? Did you even do anything this year that wasn't self-serving and actually part of running a government?
Now, you're being a little unfair, Rainbow. I would have also done other things, but my desk is always empty when I check it.
Probably because Luna takes care of all that.
And so is it my fault that she just comes in and takes my work? I didn't ask her to do that.
Well, you sure she don't complain about it before.
That's besides. My point is, if there were a duty for me to fulfill, now I would have the time to do it. Well, enough of that. So, Star, you've been here for more than a day now, which I think is more than enough to give us a little feedback on how you've managed so far.
All in all, pretty good.
So the fact that this world is inhabited by talking horses is totally okay for you?
Sure. In my time, I've seen all kinds of wacky places. Equestria actually seems somewhat more grounded, if you know what I mean. Talking unicorns, fable creatures, monsters, that's nothing I haven't seen before. But to be honest, this whole sketch thing, that's still the one thing I find weird about this world. And this Robotus guy, I'm really not sure what to make of him.
Oh, so you met Robotus by now. My condolences.
Thanks. It was really strange. He broke into my room at that farm by just pushing the door down. I think it was 4 a.m. this morning, stood himself right next to my bed and just started rambling about how his sketches work and what rules I had to follow and all that. Honestly, his noise only really woke me up about halfway through his monologue. After he had finished, he just turned around and left again. I don't even think he cared if I actually heard any of that.
Well, that's Robotus for you. Don't worry, though. In all my years doing this, I never heard of anyone breaking a sketch rule. Frankly, I never knew Robotus even had those.
All right, well, enough of that. I just remembered we still had a topic left from our previous sketch. You wanted to tell us about that whole magic thing that happened in your world.
Okay. Well, like I said before, it's not that I really think magic is inherently evil. At least I don't think so anymore. But I did have my reasons to destroy magic back then. In short, there was a warrior girl who was heavily racist against monsters and wanted to purge them from uni. She and her followers were wearing giant battle armors powered by magic. Seeing how those racists were using magic to do evil, I was convinced that magic was also evil, so logically I had to destroy it.
Ah, so it's that oldest time gun debate about something being used for bad being bad in itself. school, so you overreacted and acted rashly without thinking. No problem, that happens to all of us. And what happened then? You also said something about two worlds being merged together. How did that go for you?
Well, at first actually pretty good. I was convinced I'd never get to see Marco again, but when our words became one, I found him again. And the rest of our peoples would also quickly find that merging the worlds was a nice side effect. At least that's what I thought back then.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how is merging two worlds together that have next to nothing in common a good idea?
It wasn't, at least not when one of the words was Muni. My people, the Mumen, notoriously known for being too stupid to live, demanded that the modern society of Earth also had to conform to Muni's medieval ways. When the Earth's leaders politely declined, my people became furious and promptly launched a civil war against the humans. Given that magic wasn't a thing anymore at that point, and my people only had forks and torches, the battle ended pretty soon after. Those humans who survived the war were sent to jail for terrorism.
My, that sounds horrible.
Yes, but I don't think it was avoidable. My people were just so dumb. Luckily, not all of us were like that. There actually were a few human who integrated into modern society, like, for example, my family. We now lead an ordinary human life.
And that's all right with you? Didn't you say you used to be a princess?
Yeah, I used to be, but by the time the show ended, it was established that my family actually never was the rightful royal family. Instead, Eclipsa and her monster husband Globgo ruled now. And with the words merged, Eclipsa felt like she now had authority over both of them. Luckily, she wasn't as stupid as most of our people and publicly condemned their civil war, refusing to support them, which allowed her crown to be recognized by the other world leaders. Unfortunately, after having achieved what she wanted on Muni, she felt she needed to do the same on Earth now, which was making sure monsters were treated with equity and inclusion.
Well, for Stardust, that sounds like a respectable goal. But I guess everything didn't go smoothly.
Of course not. The thing I always disliked most about Eclipsa is how pretentiously self-righteous she always acts, like she knows better than anyone else but monsters need. Even the monsters themselves. Because when I was asking Buffro what he thought about that whole emancipation of monsters thing, he said that he knew Eclipsa meant well, but she was doing way too much. Most monsters don't even want to be part of human or human society. Evident by how they formed a separate hometown after the worlds merged. Everyone was happy with the way things were, and no one was bothering the monsters. They even visited the other cities regularly, but just didn't want to live there. But then, of course, Eclipsa comes in and says that this is Muni all over again, that humans are just as racist and need to learn their lesson. So Eclipsa passed several laws by decree about monster inclusion, all along with penalties for breaking them. She forbade monsters living separate from humans, created a forced monster quota in all professions, and would just forcibly employ monsters in businesses when none wanted to go there. But the tipping point was when she began forcing the humans to pay reparations to the monsters as recompense for the injustice they faced in the past.
Reparations? Why the fuck should the humans pay reparations? They ain't never done anything to the monsters. But before that merging thing, they never even knew about monsters.
According to Eclipsa, that doesn't matter. Not having done something does not absolve you of guilt. But it didn't stop at workplaces and housing. Language was changed as well to be less offensive. Words like monstrous were deemed hate speech, and when you would refer to an evil person by calling them a monster, you'd be in serious trouble. She also launched lawsuits against Monster Entity for appropriating the name, and Square Enix for their vile propaganda game Monster Hunter. Lately, she's also been trying to redefine the word heterosexual to mean relation between human and monster. Same with the word normal. What used to be called that is now referred to as XXY.
Ah, well, at least that still makes some sense. It's 'cause of the chromosomes, right?
No, primarily it's because it sounds stupid. There's nothing like putting down those who were once the normal ones by calling them demeaning made-up fantasy words. Like cisgender, for example.
And there we have it. I was wondering what Robotta was on about with that fucking rant.
To be fair, though, it is pretty telling that Robotus didn't even know at first that cisgender was actually real. The first time he heard it was in that South Park episode, The Sissy, and it 100% sounds like something only South Park would make up.
Can I continue?
Oh yeah, sorry about that. That's something we do from time to time. We pause a topic to have a little political rant. You were saying?
Actually, I think I was about finished. That was basically where things were at when I came here. Tensions have been rising, though, lately between humans and monsters. I think all those forced measures to integrate monsters only serve to create the very same resentment Eclipsa wanted to fight.
If only one could see a pattern there.
It's really a shame. I know Eclipsa means well, but I think she's too one-sided as well. I love her. I mean, she's something like a great aunt to me, but what she's doing is only gonna end badly.
Yeah. Hey, Rarity, don't you also want to say something to that? I've been patient all sketch waiting for you to contribute, but all this time you've just been standing there quietly sulking. What's wrong?
Nothing at all, Twilight. I just figured, why should I bother as long as our new member is here? The rule of new says that viewers always like someone new more than what they already know. So why should I waste energy if it's not gonna be appreciated either way?
Gee, you're being really mature about this edition. Alright, screwy then. But coming back to you, Star. All in all, what you said came down to this. Destroying magic ruined both Off and Muni in the long run.
Basically.
Good job, Darren. Nice finale.